So I'm going to break down Sealed. Um, I'm going to just read it line by line and break it down to code it. And so the first two lines is when I read Discovering Devotion, the after day. So the after day is an entry in the book Discovering Devotion. My brother passed away July 22nd, 2012. And on that day, Chicago and the Doobie Brothers was playing a concert in the Woodlands. The person that's my wife now, we were going to the concert. We wasn't married at the time, but we were getting ready to go to the concert. And then my mother called me. We went over there, in a hurry, because, my brother didn't have much longer, with his battle with cancer. And so when we were there, I was in the back with my brother and spending time with him. And then as he transitioned, I was just in a state of uh, peace, but shock at the same time. And so I just stayed in that room, and then, they came and they removed him, and they took him where he needed to go. And so I was still in the room this whole time. And so my mother came in there, after hours, she told me, your brother will want you to go to the concert. His favorite group is Chicago. And so he would want you to go. So we went to the concert, and then, had a good time at the concert for, with everything going on. And then because the Woodlands is a little far from where we live, and we didn't live together, but we lived in two different places, so we just kind of hung out in the Woodlands afterwards. And then in the morning I wrote the after day, because it's like when it really hit me, because I couldn't sleep. And so it was like 1, 2 in the morning, I wrote the after day. And so that's where the after day comes from. And so on the next line, it says, on many nights I was silently speaking. It feels like I'm in a timeless dream. And so when I was writing, it just felt like I'm in this dream, like it's not real. But it's the day after my brother passed, and then in my mind, it's like everything that we've been through in life, it was playing in my mind. I could hear his voice of laughter. It was us playing when we were kids, no ideas of this world beyond, like us not being together, us just this innocent time of us in our childhood. We're just having fun. We're competing, we used to race down the street from the stop sign to the light pole. That would be, our version of 100-yard dash. We would race each other. My brother would always win. He's 5 years older than me. He beat most of the people in the neighborhood. Probably all of it, probably like one or two people I don't think he could beat. But other than that, I would always race with them. And I just felt like, okay, if I can get close, then when I'm with my peers, I would have no issues, which tended to be the case, growing up that way. And so then it's just like, the video games, I could, we play those video games, the Madden, those type of things. And then we would play board games. One of them was Stratego we would play, but his favorite was Monopoly. Monopoly was, his favorite because, he liked, he's an entrepreneur. He liked his business, and he learned on Park Place and, and Boardwalk. And he would get the houses, the hotels, and I would land on there, and he'd take all my money. And so basically after that, it's just bringing me so much pain. I really don't want to talk about any of this, because the reflection is it's a missing piece of my heart. My brother's gone. And, he's been with me from the start. And so as I'm thinking about this while I'm writing, I'm thinking about, as I progress in life, with the young lady that, hey, you know what, maybe I want to get married. If I'm going to get married, my brother won't be there. If I have a child, my brother won't be there. Anything I may accomplish moving further, he won't be there. And so that's what I'm really talking about. And so, because I never thought of the after day like this, but then the after day is here. And then I realized quickly, we'll always be together because you're going to live in my heart. When people pass away, they live in your heart. And so, and then the fact that he's my brother, that bond is forever. Like, you can't break it. And so, I smile now because you rest easy. Like, you're not in pain. That's another thing that people need to understand. When people are going through those kind of trials and tribulations, we tend to and these are my opinions, pray for supernatural healing, and that's what you want to do. And the thing of it is that may not be God's plan, and so definitely you want to shift those prayers to that the individual that's going through whatever they're going through, they don't have pain, and that God will uh, make sure they don't have pain. And if that means the supernatural healing, then they won't have pain. And if it's time for God to take them home, then they won't have pain at all. So the prayer is for them not to have pain, because you don't want them to suffer in any format. Because sometimes we're praying for them to be here, but they're steady in pain, and it's not really pleasing them. It's pleasing us because we're in the presence. We get to see them. And so, that was during that time, difficult time, I learned to pray for, my brother not to be in pain. And I also learned to pray for other people as well. Not that I didn't, but this is my personal situation. This is what I'm going through, but it's millions of people in the world going through the similar situation with their family members. And I just wanted to pray for them as well. And that's one of those things we need to do is pray for others. And so then as I kind of go through the entries, it's like, I asking God, well, let me see his presence when I'm in the crowd. Like I want to see his presence in the crowd whenever I'm accomplish anything. And this is my prayer written down, which keeps me on the ground. My foundation is the rock, and what I promote won't stop, which is love I give from the heart. And so it's kind of like that, praying for everybody, that comes from your heart. Like that's not your mind telling you that, we're taught to, the greatest commandments is to love God with all your heart, your mind, your soul. And that's what you should do. And then the second commandment that Jesus told us is to love your neighbors. And so you want to love your neighbors as you love yourself. And so you love yourself, you need to love them the same way. And so that's kind of what this is talking about, that what I promote won't stop, because if I truly love myself and I truly am a Jesus follower or a disciple, and I'm loving my neighbor as myself, I need to forgive them. I need to give them chances. I need to share things that I have. And so that's just, on a short spectrum of things. And so that's what I'm doing, because that's what I'm doing. I'm pushing love to hit its mark. So it's not, one of those things that, okay, I've done enough. Like I think when you have Jesus involved, it's just so many things you can do that you're never gonna run out of resources, because there's so many things that you can do. You constantly can give of yourself all this time. It's just the question is, are you ever gonna become selfish? And so what I want to push is the love to hit its mark at all time, which is that unconditional love that you only get from God, that you experience from God to help others. And so with God's grace, this is how it all starts. So once you understand God's grace, this is how you start to go to the next level. And so then that's that part that I'm still willing and able. And just like Abel, I'm going to give you my best fruits. Like this is what I know I can do. This is what I'm going to give you. I'm not just going to give you something just to do it. And that's kind of plays into the signature. I'm not just signing because, okay, I'm getting a check, or I'm signing just because this is what you want me to do and I don't believe in it. No, 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 no. This is my best. I'm going to give you my best. If I can't give you my best, I'm not signing off on it. And so that's that passion. That's really what it comes about, that I'm giving my best fruits. I'm giving you who I am. And the truth is I can't make it without you. And the you is Jesus. Like you can't make it without Jesus at this particular level of trying to help others, because he's the model. And if you're not following that model, then you're just doing it for yourself. And so, the reward is to be like Jesus. And in the end, your reward is your belief. Your belief in him will get you to heaven. And so that's part of what I'm talking about. I can't make it without you. I can't make it without Jesus. And so at that point, it's like, give me the strength, be by my side. Let them know. And so when I'm talking about let them know, I'm talking about people. Because sometimes and majority of the time when you're an artist, people love your craft. They don't love you, they love the craft. And so it's like, don't let them love too much part of me, of one part of me. Like this is just one part of me as an artist, of writing and reading and the poetic flow. That's just a part of me. But people will love that, and they don't even know who you are. And so I'm speaking to Jesus like, when people meet me, I don't want them to love just one part of me. I want them to love the whole embodiment of me, so they understand that what it's like to be a Christian. That I'm gonna make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, but this is who I am, and this is how I get better. He's forgiven us. He died on the cross for us, and so He's forgiven us. And so when we make mistakes, we need to progress and continue to get better. But then we can expose our mistakes to other people to help them. So it's like, I don't want them just to love this little goody two shoe. I want them to love all of it, because all of it is what made me who I am. And so that's the part where like they shouldn't just love the way the words read. And at the end of the day, they should love that you are a part of me. The main reason why someone should love you, and that's because they can see God in you. If they don't see God in you, then they shouldn't really love you for that reason, if you're a believer. Because when you're a believer, you love that you can see God in people. And then the thing of it is even if they're not saved, you know the potential of God being in them. So that's that witness as well, that you can see it. Like, you can see God has made everybody, God has given everybody grace. God wants everyone to make it to the other side. So you want to love your neighbor just for that purpose, that God loves you the same way. So that's really what that means. And then it's like the freshness, like all of this is embodied and sealed. Like if I'm a bottle, and then when you unseal it, you pull it back, this world experience of who you are now comes out. And it's this freshness, like, wow, I didn't know it was this. And then in that part is saying that only love can cause your heart to heal. Like the only thing that's going to ever heal you is love. And where love comes from is God loved us. That's why we are healed. He sent His Son to heal us. And so that's that love. And so it goes into this part where Peter is talking to Jesus, and he said, should I forgive my brother 7 times? And then so Jesus tells him, no, 7 times 70. And so that's why in my entry is like 70 times 7 is forgiveness. You should always forgive someone, because God forgives us. And also, you not forgiving them is not necessarily hurting them. It's just hurting you because you're hoarding all that bad energy. And so that's what that 70 times 70 is. And so it goes deeper into the book. There's 7 entries. In the author edition, there's 70 entries from the last 6 books. I combine them for those 77 entries that, hey, I need forgiveness. Because the forgiveness is, when I wrote Discovering Devotion, I thought that was going to be my last book. And then I put 2 more books out of that. So it's like, sometimes we need to be forgiven for what we say we're going to do. Because at the end, we don't know what God's going to lead us to do. And so that's my way of saying, hey, I need forgiveness for what I said I was going to do. But then I'm letting you know, God holds the master key to a better you, to a better me. That's the highest mountain, and that's the lowest depth in the sea. It's not for us to say. It's only for Him to say. And so now at this point I'm talking about, I transfer to the manuscript. Like everything I'm thinking, I transfer to this manuscript so you can read it. And my sole purpose is to uplift you, for it to be something good, to encourage you. I'm only concentrating on my gift. Like I'm not concentrating on anything else. And I'm keeping it fresh. That's like that, taking that seal. You smell it, it's fresh, it's brand new, because it's been bottled up. And so when it's released, it's like you can smell it like, man, it's on fire. And it's like, let them experience it for yourself. Like, let these people experience this for themselves. This illustration is real. This is the greatness within these pages. And then it's my last book, delivered, signed, and sealed. I feel like this is the last book. 7 is completion. I feel like God has directed me to do different things, just kind of like what me talking and breaking it down and coding. Maybe that's what I'm going to be doing in the future, but it won't be the writing down purpose, because I feel like I've written down enough things that I can break it down just in conversations, do forums, do platforms, and just promote it a different way. And so that's what sealed is. Hope you enjoyed the breakdown. And we'll look forward to the next entry.